Thanks for the opportunity to present at ACSME this year. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands upon which I'm giving this presentation, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to the elders, past, present and emerging. What a glorious country. Another glorious country is Cambodia. I've had the privilege of going to Cambodia several times to work on a project with ACR. It's an Australian government organisation, and working with the co-authors of this paper. That's Dr. Yuan Tree, Associate Professor Dan Tan, Dr. Rebecca Cross, and my PhD student Dan Howe. The project that we're presenting today describes a collaboration between Cambodia and Australian scientists to develop a contemporary agriculture curriculum to support the next generation of technology-focused land management practices in Cambodia, with the objective to improve Cambodian teaching and learning practices in higher education, particularly in the plant science curriculum. The collaboration covers two provinces in Cambodia, Biak and Manchai, as indicated by the capital there, Sisophon, and Battambang, which is the provincial capital of Battambang. The World Bank is supporting the work to revise the Cambodian agriculture curriculum, and we've got funding from 2021 to 2024. And it's specifically to develop the BSc in agroecology and to build research capacity in the areas of crop systems, agroecology, and in precision agriculture, which is where that technology focus really comes in. So to give a little bit of background as to how this project started, our transnational education collaboration has grown from an existing international research and development partnership. Like I say, it's an ACR project, an Australian Centre for International Agriculture Research project that's due to finish next year. And the project is called Cambodian Sustainable Intensification and Diversification, or CAMSID. The primary remit of the CAMSID project is to build the capacity of local farming communities, as well as the agricultural education institutions. This is being achieved in a number of ways, including training students to conduct surveys with those living in the project's target villages, so that we can assess the impact of the interventions from the CAMSID project. Inherent in that is the capacity building of those students who are participating and partnering with us on our data collection efforts. So the CAMSID project and the World Bank project kind of interdigitate. So if you look at the timeline, the CAMSID project is in two phases. The start of the project in 2016 up until 2019, the focus was on evidence-based best practices. We're in the second phase of the CAMSID project now, which is the scaling out best practices using social media, radio, mobile apps, pamphlets, reports, printed online, face-to-face training sessions with government. And the World Bank project is coming in at the tail end of the CAMSID project. Those red asterisks that you see are where we already have students participating in the project. So we have students Cambodian students who assisted with baseline data collection, midway data collection, and that we anticipate will be helping with the final data collection. They've been very much involved in collecting the evidence-based best practices for intensification of rice, diversification of other plant crops, and improving the capacity of women with various research projects, honours, masters, PhD, in Cambodia and in Australia. The social media radio mobile app part is, if anyone knows me, it's the technology part, and that's the bit that I'm finding really exciting, is to improve the technological capacity across to have cut through Cambodian higher education. And we hope to convert this radio program into a podcast. That's on my list of things to do, so stay tuned for that. But suffice to say that infused through the CAMSID project has been a lot of opportunities to pull students, to build capacity of students into the program, with a particular focus on Cambodian students. And we're going to be leveraging off that and having that as obviously the main focus of the World Bank project. Our conversations to date have been focused on where we can introduce technology to support farmers and agriculture students. And for example, we've developed some mobile apps. One is the Pest ID app and the other one is the Weed Identifier app. Both of these apps are offered in the Khmer language as well as English, and they're the first apps of their kind that are for a use other than learning English to be offered in the Khmer language. There's been quite a bit of interest in those apps to extend their use into neighbouring countries, so we'll be adding other languages into that app framework. Suffice to say that we're really focusing on honing digital literacy skills across the board when we do the work into the Cambodian curriculum. The third app in the suite is one that Dan Howell's been working on, which is to develop an app to assist farmers and input sellers as well as students in the chemical use. So there's an issue with using the right chemicals and the right chemical regime to control a whole suite of pests in rice, and Dan's focus is on rice blast. So watch this space for Dan Howell's app to be launched. Our next steps were to have a contingent of Cambodian educators come out to Australia to sit on our plant science classes, to see how we teach, the technology used when we teach, and to share some of those resources in real time, face to face. Of course, we're now rethinking how we're going to do that. Maybe COVID has been a good thing. Some of the resources that we have been able to generate for our own students that are now digital assets can be shared much more immediately, so maybe all is not lost. But nothing beats catching up with friends and colleagues face to face, and I think all of us look forward to that time. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you.